Hello, I'm Lynne Taylerson from independent training provider Real Time Education, and I'm one of the team working across FE and Skills that has been testing TeacherMatic. I think one of the first things I'd say about TeacherMatic is that the design team like to say that it's been created by teachers for teachers, and I think that's really true because I've been lucky enough to be part of a really diverse team that are testing it. So we come from general FE colleges, from adult and community learning, and like myself from work-based learning and independent training providers, which means that it's had really thorough testing from right across the sector. Personally, I've worked across large general FE and HE, adult and community learning, work-based learning, and as I am now in an independent training provider, across subjects such as IT, digital, maths, and now teacher education. And I can see that TeacherMatic will be really useful for all of those scenarios. Personally, when I've been testing it, I've been using scenarios from my IT teaching, so things like Introduction and Intermediate Excel courses, from some leadership and management courses that I deliver, so things like topics such as change management and managing challenge, but also topics from the teacher education classroom such as motivating learners and positive classroom management. I've valued, I think, all of the tools that are in the suite. I mean, particularly, I think the teaching topics are really useful. If I was putting together a new course, possibly for the first time, I've been tasked with developing something new. Really good to get a good sense of the topics that I might include in that and get some real inspiration from there. Also, in terms of populating a VLE or an LMS, you've got great tools like the FAQs of a topic or a glossary. And as I say, I've been testing this with IT and in the Excel classroom, and it's been really useful in putting together a glossary of key terms that I can just export and then put onto something like Moodle as a starter for learners so that they can then add to it with their own terms. FAQs equally are very, very useful because it will give me some prompts at what learners are likely to be asking me in a topic, and equally I can use that again on a VLE to have a really valuable resource to give me prompt questions that might come up that I can use with my own answers or augment them. When it comes to actually teaching in the classroom itself, the tools that I've found most valuable are the discussion topics and the learning activities. I think first of all these will be useful for new teachers or people who are, as I say, picking up a new subject, because they'll give you some real inspiration in terms of what you might do when you're working with learners, maybe in small group work or breakout rooms in the digital environment. Also learning activities. I found this really interesting because I thought, well, do I actually want an AI telling me what learning activities I should be using in my classroom? But of course, they're just powerful suggestions, and you take them and you might think, oh, well, I've got really 5 suggestions here. 3 of them I really like and 1 of them I can amend, and you sort of pinch and personalize them and make them your own. And I think those kind of things like learning activities and discussion topics will be useful for new teachers who are thinking, well, what kind of activities can I do in my class? But actually for someone like me who's been in the FE and skills learning spaces for, coming up on 23 years now, sometimes we need some new inspiration just to have a new way of looking at things. And I think particularly with the culture, a high pressure that we've got in FE and skills at the moment, a lot of hot desking, maybe that staff room culture where we could all sit around over a cup of tea and discuss what we might do in our classroom and get, mentorship and advice from our colleagues, that might not be in place anymore for many people. So as almost sort of a digital sounding board, so TeacherMatic can provide you with some suggestions that you can choose to use or not, and of course make them your own. As well as being of direct use for teachers and those working in, for example, learning support scenarios, I think that TeacherMatic is also going to be really useful for people who are promoting courses and perhaps managers who are maybe writing course descriptions for literature or websites or for social media. So I've found that the course description will be really, really useful. It's one of those things that's a real time saver. You know, we all have to write maybe 50, 100 words on our course and what's in it. So if we can get a steer that we can just do a little bit of editing on, then that will be really, really, really powerful. I know that it's a real hot topic at the moment, you know, how much is artificial intelligence going to change teaching and learning, both for teachers and for learners? And we've seen some horror stories in the media about things like ChatGPT. And with all digital tools, we've got that question, I'm a teacher, is this going to replace me? And I think I would say that, like all digital tools, no, it's not going to replace you. It's something that you can leverage very powerfully to save yourself time and also give you ideas for new ways for doing things. So I think, you know, we need to be at the forefront of this in FE, leveraging AI. First of all, from our own practice, but also so we can be showing colleagues and also learners how they are going to be using it in their working lives. I would say have a go with it. Have a go with a couple of the tools that I've described here that you think might be useful, and then you'll get some great suggestions that are in easily downloadable forms. Use them, adapt them, modify them, be a real critical user and say, well, no, that's not really working for me, and give the team feedback if it's something that you don't like so much. But, you know, you'll find that some things are a really good fit for your practice, and other things with a little modicum of rewriting will be really, really valuable. And, you know, it's just there to give you some steers and some ideas and some baseline content that you can take into your own classroom and put your own unique style and spin on as an educator.